sat down with Sandra Sully. You can catch that on Network 10 at 6 p.m. tomorrow night, in her own words. Really looking forward to that one. So let's hear what the Australian coach, Tony Gustafsson, has planned tonight. Scott McKinnon caught up with him a little earlier.
Well, Tony, you treated game one like a bit of a dress rehearsal for the World Cup. How are you treating this one, the rematch tonight, with another big crowd out there as well?
Same way. We had a short turnaround, but we said we need to take some learnings from this game and step on the field tonight and show that we really take some learning. And we want to be there from the first second this time. We can't cough an early goal like that. We'd rather score one. So from start, we need to be really on and bring that high energy. I think we grow into the game last game after about 12 to 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Can we do what we did in that last 30 minutes in the first half and last game? I think we're good.
You made some changes at the back. Can you talk us through those changes and why?
Yeah, we're in the process now where we want to do a lot of things, look at a lot of players. Tonight I wanted to have our vice captain, Steph Catley, leading that back line from behind. I wanted some experience in the goalkeeper as well with Lydia there to get some stability. And also I wanted to look at a couple of things. Now we've built in a flexible lineup that can play two different formation without making a substitution. So we can go both 3-4-3 and 4-3-3 with the same players on the park.
Right, and this being the last one before the Asian Cup, I mean, big focus on getting a result, a real belief in the team that they can get a result here tonight against the best team in the world?
For sure, and that's also why you have the lineup that you have. This is the last kind of rehearsal before the Asian Cup, so we wanted to have kind of a core group of players out there that might be playing in the Asian Cup as well. So the training we had yesterday was one of the better trainings we had in a really long time. So if they can bring that energy and quality tonight, we have a good chance to win.
Let's hope so. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Yeah, great to hear from Tony Gustafsson there. Harps, what I'm hearing is a lot about adaptability, having cool players that when the circumstances change of what's in front of them on the pitch, being able to adapt. Yep. He spoke about defence in the back line. I'm seeing Tamika Yallop starting potentially out of her preferred position tonight. Do we have the players, though, this squad, to be that adaptable when it comes to big games?
Yeah, I'm sounding a bit like a one-trick pony on this issue, but I'm going to stick to it. And whoever takes the field, I'll enjoy watching, and I'm sure they'll do very well. But between now and the World Cup, the coach needs to find three options for whatever permutation. And if something happens to the spine of the team, which he keeps playing, where do we go after that? I mean, fingers crossed and perish the thought, if Sam Kerr, something happened to her before the World Cup finals, who's option 2 as a centre forward? And then who's option 3? And you roll this right around. So we've seen Hayley, we've seen a lot of the girls play a lot of football. I want to see more of the other emerging ones. So he's tinkered with the formation. Let's see how it goes. All power to him. The more he wants to experiment, the better. But the more he wants to experiment.
The growing pains of building depth. You look at Team USA and they came out here and they bought a younger squad, less caps, less experience. And it was all about building depth, and their debutantes absolutely stood up and shone. There's only one change to this starting lineup, Grace. Sophia Huerta, who played for Adelaide United and Sydney FC in the A-League women's competition, comes in defence. But those players who are getting experience get even more. He's quite settled with who he's seeing on the pitch.
Well, to me, it says that he's really happy with the performance from Saturday night. The girls, the US women's national team performed really well. Although those girls are young and generally inexperienced in a US women's national team sense, they can step up to international level. We've got Sophia Huerta coming in who did get a few minutes, and Casey Murphy in goal. She's been rewarded with a fantastic performance from Saturday night, and really exciting to see her back on the pitch this evening.
I think the really interesting thing we need to consider here is we're talking about this US team as a young, inexperienced group of players, but their young players are 23, 24. Our young players are 17 or 18. That's a huge difference in the depth of our squads. And also, these players who are 23, 24 are coming out of college systems where they've played, ultimately it's pretty much professional football when it comes to the quality, for 3 or 4 years. So they've got a lot of experience in terms of top-level football, and that's why they have no problem in stepping up and adapting to international.
And someone who is getting more and more experience. She has a point to prove as well as Lynne Williams. She missed out the 2019 World Cup squad with Team USA and built her way and made her way into the Olympic squad, and Scott McKinnon caught up with her a little earlier.
Well, Lynne, great performance in Game 1. How important is it to back it up in what is your last game of the season?
Yeah, I think it's really important for us. Every single game we want to come out and win, but to finish the year on a win, on a high note would be amazing. Obviously, this Aussie side is going to be a tough opponent, so coming out with a challenge and a new group of girls, to hopefully win 2 games would be great.
Now, you are the most experienced forward in the squad, so does that put a bit more responsibility on your shoulders to mentor these young and exciting players in and around you?
You know, it's funny, like I don't feel that way just yet. Part of me, yes, but the other part, I think that, you know, we're all professionals here. I think there's little things like bring your boots to training or stuff like that, of course, but I think it's everybody's collective responsibility to stay focused, stay hungry, and push the needle forward for this team. So I don't think it's necessarily my responsibility, but I think it's just a collective effort.
Now, we saw some great reunion shots, some great stuff on your Instagram after the Sydney game. How much are you loving being in Australia here?
I love it here. Obviously, my partner's from Melbourne, and, you know, Australia kind of feels like a second home to me. Since COVID, I haven't been able to see him, and I got to see him for the first time in 21 months. So not only to get to play in Australia and see him, but play in front of him, in front of that side of my family it means the world to me.
Well, hopefully you can stay a bit longer. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Of course, Lynne Williams loves it down under because her love is down under Mali. They had been separated because of COVID for 21 months. They met at Pepperdine University where he was a basketballer, Lynne a football player, and the love affair and the long-distance love affair continues. We saw her play in the A-League women's competition for the Western Sydney Wanderers in 2019. Fingers crossed, a couple of rumours floating around that she may be featuring for Melbourne Victory, so do watch this space from one star in the USA team to another in the green and gold. Let's hear from Sam Kerr now. Scott McKinnon caught up with her a little earlier.
Well, Sam, first up, congratulations. Third in the voting for the Ballon d'Or. We think you should have won the thing, but your reaction to that, it's a big achievement.
Yeah, I mean, I feel proud just to be on that list. So to be third, it hasn't really sunk in yet, but I'm really proud and I feel really honoured. There's a lot of great names that I was before, so special.
Now, we know you weren't 100% before the last game. You're back fit and firing for this one, and we know you love playing here. Something like 5 goals in 3 games here.
Yeah, I think last game, the day after, I felt much better, so I'm feeling back to 100%. Hopefully can play a lot better too. Felt very under the weather, but we love playing in Newey. It's an amazing stadium, the crowd's amazing, and like you said, we normally score a lot of goals here.
It was a bit of a weird one, the anthem last time, the Wiggles. Now, I'm a big Wiggles fan. My kids big Wiggles fans, but are you looking for a more traditional national anthem just to keep your focus for this one tonight?
Yeah, it was a bit different. I love the Wiggles too. I grew up on the Wiggles, but I think for a pumper, it's best to keep it traditional.
Yeah, absolutely. Best of luck for this one tonight.
Thank you.
I think we got Sam Kerr's answer right there, and don't forget you can catch the exclusive sit-down Sandra Sully and Sam Kerr in her own words tomorrow night from 6 p.m. on Network 10. We are off to a short break. A huge atmosphere building here at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle as kickoff is inching closer, and as we head there, we hear from Matilda's vice-captain, Steph Catley.
What a wonderfully taken free kick that is from Steph Catley.
It was nice to get off the mark and get that monkey off the back, my first goal, and that free kick fell in a perfect position for me. That's where I always practice my free kicks from, so I felt like I would never get that opportunity where it was in the exact right spot, so just went for it and obviously turned out well, so it was very nice to score that goal, and hopefully I can score some for the Matildas. When I first got to the club, having that little bit of home and a friendly Australian accent was really nice. Obviously when I went over as well, there was tons of Aussies on the coaching staff and that made it a little bit easier as well, but Caitlin and Lids are 2 of my closest friends on the team, so it's always nice to have that friendly face in there and a little touch of home.
Stands it up to the back post, there's a player there and it's in for Japan.
Yeah, I think the last few Asian Cups we've gotten to the final and just not been able to get over the line, and I think now doing well at the Olympics and getting to the later stages has kind of prepared us for those big game moments now, and I think we've got that experience and the knowledge to know how to get on top in those games, and I think that'll be really valuable coming into the Asian Cup and maybe the finals, and just want to stay fit and healthy and keep building on the base that I'm building on now with my football, and hopefully a big Asian Cup.
Welcome to the Matildas v USA live on Network 10 from stunning Newcastle. Breathtaking coastline, gorgeous beaches, including Merriweather, which is a magnet for surfers and one of the most iconic locations when it comes to catching waves in this country. And isn't she glorious? Nobby's Lighthouse, built back in 1854, still active today to guide vessels into the Hunter River. It is a gorgeous part of New South Wales. Some people would call it God's country. And another gorgeous part of Australia, New South Wales, is Australia's zoo, where Team USA have really made the most of their first visit down under in 21 years, getting up close and personal with some of the wildlife and enjoying themselves here, because it has been a very long time in between drinks. Welcome back from Tara Rushton. Great to have your company. The crowd is well and truly building here at McDonald Jones Stadium. When we are looking at the stars who are really going to light up this encounter, Harps, we have to speak about Mary Fowler.
Yeah. Well, she's a rare commodity. You know, she's got great technique, very comfortable on the ball at the start of her career. So it's a really important period now, building her into the key quality, and they're rare. And she's a playmaker, and they don't grow on trees. You know, they come by happenstance. Oftentimes, we haven't had a production line in this country, certainly not one that's encouraged this type of player through the youth system. Now we've got one. She can be the anchor creatively in this Matildas team, and I really believe we're just seeing the very first stages of an incredibly exciting career.
Just 18 years old. How and why she become such an indispensable part of this side, Georgia?
Yeah, look, she brings something different. She's an attacking midfielder who likes to go forward at any opportunity, and it's her vision and her ability to play forward that sets her apart from a lot of other midfielders. And just remember how young she is. As we look at this footage, she already knows that she wants to play that ball in behind Caitlin Ford before she gets it. She's looking to turn defences around, which she's done in that instance. And then you look here, and it's knowing that Rose Lavelle stepped up and she makes that little run in behind and opens up so much space. She then gets her head up and goes, okay, well, where's the next forward pass that I can find? And plays a perfectly weighted ball into Sam Kerr. That pass is not easy to do. That's a very difficult technique to get the weight of the pass right, and she puts Sam Kerr on goal.
I think that's exactly right, George. And what we saw in that vision there was Mary Fowler finding space in between lines. She does that so delicately. And that ball, I would say my only criticism is that I would love to see her drive through and take a shot in that opportunity. Sam Kerr's made a beautiful lateral run, drawn in 3 defenders. Mary Fowler, we know she can shoot from that kind of distance.
It's true. And look, am I speaking out of turn? Is she the quintessential playmaker in this team? In which case, can we say, lock her away, let's build the next 20 internationals, getting her as the playmaker, and then we can work on maybe the deputy. So again, perish the thought, if something happens to Mary between now and the World Cup and she's not available, who then becomes the playmaker to create the chances? Maybe, my point, Emily Van Egmond can play further forward. Kaya Simon is a playmaker as well. These are the rotations that I'd like to see, but Emily and Kaya, they're 100-cat Matildas. It's Mary into which the energy has to be put, and the coaching and the direction and the empowerment. And that young 18-year-old, go and fill your boots, Mary. Play the game, create, shoot, score, pass, dazzle us. She's capable.
This crowd want to be dazzled tonight, Harps. You're lucky that you don't have any hair because of the fire that was shooting out from behind us a little bit earlier.
I did feel a singe, Steve. I felt a singe.
Would have taken it clear off, but an amazing crowd building here. We're expecting around 20,000 here in the stands. I absolutely love their football. We've spoken about Mary Fowler, we've talked about that attacking intent, and it's something that you get from Ellie Carpenter, isn't it, Georgia? That will and the instruction to go forward.
Yeah, well, she's got a lot of freedom in this side. Tony Gustafson's really told her, I want you to play your natural way of playing, and for her, that's to run forward. We see her streaming all the way down, and unfortunately in this instant, the pass was off, but it's her ability to take wingers with her that sets her apart as well. So Lynne Williams is going to be worried about what's Ellie Carpenter doing, and as a defender, it's usually the other way round, but it's her ability to get forward and join in the attack that really sets Ellie Carpenter apart.
We love watching that battle, Lynne Williams and Ellie Carpenter.
Yeah, great. And Lynne won it twice, right? She won it twice, for the first goal and for the penalty. And we love Ellie, and I'm part of the fan club too, but we need an end product, Ellie. Right? She's got such incredible torque, like a Ferrari up the flank. Can we then switch to a bit of a Mercedes-Benz and get some craft into the box? And this is where Gustafson's got to come in, I believe. You know, again, we're going for a World Cup. You're going to beat these top teams. You get to the final third. You've got to deliver something that Sam Kerr can finish. This is the work that remains for Ellie Carpenter, in my opinion.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing whether they can even the ledger. It was 3-0 in their first clash on Saturday night at Stadium Australia. What can the Matildas do here tonight in Newcastle? Georgie Govendale, I'll let you head off to commentary. We have kick-off, the Matildas v Team USA on the other side.
Welcome to Newcastle, one of the cradles of football in Australia, where women's football started with a series of games between Abermain and Western all the way back in 1928. And it's home to arguably the greatest Matilda of all time, Cheryl Salisbury. And she achieved plenty in the game, yet she was never part of a side that defeated the Americans. And a decade on from her retirement, beating the Americans remains something of a holy grail. A solitary win in Seattle in July 2017 stands like a beacon against 4 draws and 27 defeats against the 4 times world champions. Tonight the Matildas will try again, and more importantly, it's the last chance to get things right before that Women's Asian Cup starts in India in January. The Matildas look promising going forward on Saturday, but it's defensively where those holes remain. It is now 36 goals conceded in 15 internationals in 2021. Can they find the solution tonight? Or will the Americans, as they've done so frequently down the years, be just a bit too good, a bit too savvy? 20,000 fans welcoming the two teams. The fireworks go off. Thankfully, the weather is drier than it was earlier on this afternoon. And lots of expectant faces here at McDonald Jones Stadium. Should be a fantastic evening. And we're going to take a pause for the welcome to country and then the 2 national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to turn your attention to a very special acknowledgement of country to be performed by Luke Russell.
Kabrang Gambo, Paye Tarra Panda Virongi, Narta Arvaila, Bimai, Kokri Nirinku, Parada, Warago Gurja, Nart Witta, Nuka Binama Murumbu, Niar Namba Maiken Gungu, Niar Namba Kundungurigagu. We've all come tonight to the land of the Awabakal people. I ask you to join with me to pay respects to the spirits of the land, to our old people, and to all those people who have walked this country before us. To be welcomed traditionally, first of all, you have to learn our language, you have to learn our customs, you have to learn our law, the original law of this country. So what I can say is, Nyar Nama Maiken Kunzgu Nyabe. Nyar Nama Kundungurja Nyabe, Narta Nyabe. Our spirits acknowledge you. Our old people acknowledge you. I acknowledge you. Murbu, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of the United States of America to be performed by Laura Garrick. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain upstanding for the national anthem of Australia.
Australia versus the United States of America. Take two is not far away. Team lineups and kickoff coming up after the break. A packed crowd in Newcastle, and there's still plenty outside waiting to get in. Here's the team news. Tony Gustafsson making 3 changes from Saturday. Lynne Williams back in goal for Tegan Micah. Kyra Cooney-Cross is recalled, and Hayley Razzo returns after her shoulder problem. Jessica Nash and Caitlin Ford both drop out, the latter due to a slight groin injury. But it's the shape of this team that's interesting. Steph Catley will play as a central defender in a 3 or a 4, depending on the pattern of the game. Tamika Yallop at left back, Kaya Simon in front of her, with Mary Fowler as the number 10. It's another shape shift by the coach as he seeks to find that magic blend. The Americans make just the 1 change. Ex-Sydney FC and Adelaide defender Sophia Huerta replacing Emily Sonnet at right back. Captain Lindsay Horan maintains her record of having played in every one of the team's 22 internationals in the calendar year. Others in that 11 with experience of playing club football in Australia: ex-Wanderer Lynne Williams and Ashley Hatch, who won the W League with Melbourne City, and of course who got her first international goal after just 24 seconds on Saturday, and that was the 3rd quickest goal in the team's history. Tony Gustafsson about to shift from what he calls preparation mode into performance mode. Has been given a free pass so far, but the acid test will be in India in January. There's Vlatko Adanovsky, the Macedonian-born coach of the US, whose record of 28 wins, 4 draws and just 2 losses makes for rather sobering reading, and that includes 2 wins and a draw against the Matildas this year. There's Alana Cook, who was eligible to play for England due to her parentage. Her father was born in that part of the world, was actually called up by the English national team, but has chosen to represent the States. And Emily Van Egmond, back on home turf, you could say. Born and raised in Newcastle. We're about to get underway here at McDonald Jones Stadium. Big night this for the Matildas. They need to be better in both boxes. As referee from South Korea, Park Soo-jin, who is fourth official on Saturday, gets us underway. The Matildas in action for the final time in 2021. And the 15 internationals so far this year have brought an awful lot of mixed emotions and a whole heap of questions, Georgia Yeomandel, the answers to which are probably rather urgent.
Yeah, Simon, it was an interesting game on Saturday, and it'll be a tough one here again.
And Lynne Williams getting around Courtney Nevin, which is an early warning sign again for the Matildas' defence, but no goal in the opening half minute of the game this time.
No, we're doing well. It's better than Saturday already, but I'm sure that the girls would know that they need to come out and be switched on from the start. They know how ruthless the US can be, and we were really punished on Saturday with a poor start. I think that as the first half progressed on Saturday, I think we outplayed the US, and hopefully we can take those positives into this one.
Learnings in both boxes, as Tony Gustafsson calls it. Do you concur, or the other areas of concern for you?
No, I totally agree. I think that you look at how many opportunities that the Matildas created in the final third, and they just weren't clinical enough. There was that obvious standout opportunity for Kaya Simon that she was unable to put away.
Now, Emily Fox with a useful ball, and Lydia Williams got caught betwixt and between, really, and got a touch of good fortune. She's got a whack coming through as well from Midge Purse as she attempted to gobble up the rebound, but Australia so close to being caught again, Georgia.
Yeah, it was a fantastic ball in behind, but for me there, you can't allow your striker to get in front like Steph Catley did there. You need to be ball side, but I think we've got away with it there. Lydia Williams, she knows she's got to stand up strong, and I think she'll do that here tonight.
Ashley Hatch with that chance ultimately to reprise her early goal-scoring heroics at the weekend. There's no foul on Hayley Razzo, shoulder to shoulder from Emily Fox. And this is just the ruthless professionalism of the Americans, and one of the reasons, Georgia, why they've been the world #1 for 13 of the last 14 years, according to the FIFA rankings.
I think it comes down to the depth that they have in their squad. We've talked for the last few years about...
Here they go again, and Lydia Williams out to sweep. Catley's having one or two issues with the pace of her direct opponent. Margaret Purse on that right-hand side. The Matildas will bring it forward. Or at least that was the plan. Instead, they're back defending. Here's Lynne Williams. Purse on the right. There's not too many up alongside her. Here's a chance for Hatch. She's done it again. Ashley Hatch, 24 seconds on Saturday and less than 3.5 minutes here tonight in Newcastle. The same old story for the Matildas. And you have to say, even at this early stage, it had been coming.
Yeah, the US are ruthless. They come out and they're attacking early on. Great run in behind here by Purse. She looks up, she holds up the ball. That there is so important. She doesn't just whip in across because there's no one there at the time. Ash Hatch continues her run into the box, and that's what the difference is. It's them being clinical in the final third, finding the pass and finishing the goal.
But are the Matildas too slow, Georgia, to realise that there's a problem brewing?
Yeah, they've got a new starting back four once again, and it does take time to get used to playing with one another. They don't play club together, and now they're playing international against the world #1. And I guess the biggest thing is that we keep talking about is the US don't give you time to settle into a game. So they need to figure it out very early on, and they've got to claw their way back into this one.
Tamika Yallop to take the throw as the Matildas try and clear their heads, playing in a rather unfamiliar left-sided position today. Tamika Becky Yellett, 101st cap for her country. And make that 37 goals conceded in 16 internationals now this year for Tony Gustafsson's team. Not the start he wanted. Certainly quite a crowd down here as well. Played off by Lindsay Horan. Again, wearing the skipper's armband for the Americans. Now with Tierney Davidson, it's a little bit off-key for Emily Fox, who continues down that left-hand side. The girl from Racing Louisville. New addition to the NWSL in America a couple of years back. Foul on Andy Sullivan. Goal timed officially at 3 minutes and 16 seconds for Ashley Hatch. She certainly won't forget her trip to Australia, that's for sure. Scoring in both games, there she is. Here's Ellie Carpenter. Heavy touch by Razzo. Got to make those stick. Simon might be able to nip in there. And Ellie Fowler looking to lift it over the top for the run of Sam Kerr. Being pursued by Tierney Davidson. Little back heel brings wires from the crowd. Yellop's cross. But easy pickings in the end for Casey Murphy. But that's better from Australia.
It was great build-up play, Mary Fowler. We spoke about her a lot in the pre-game and her ability to get her head up and find spaces in behind. It was a fantastic ball over to Sam Kerr. But again, that final product in the box needs to be better. We can't be crossing the ball in and the keeper picking it up, because against a side like the US, you're not going to get a whole lot of chances going forward.
Well dug out by Emily van Egmond. Sadly, the release didn't match those efforts. Turned over by Andy Sullivan. Van Egmond will roll it forward for Aaron Cooney cross. Warren Cook just hesitated for a moment, which very nearly opened the door for Kaya Simon. It will be a Matilda's corner, and Tony Gustafsson likes that. Didn't sense Kaya Simon was quite that close. Alana Cook, she very quickly became aware of it. So a chance potentially for the Matildas to strike back. Added pops for Yallop. Back with Nevin. Yallop again. Stretching and then complete miscue. She's got to chase back. Because the Americans, as we saw at the weekend, can be oh so dangerous in those quick transitional moments. There's Lindsay Horan. And Davidson. That towards Emily Fox. Trying to get clear of Razzo, scrapping for it, and her presence was enough. Hayley Razzo. As you mentioned in the pre-game, Georgia, she is such a competitor.
Yeah, this will be a really good battle here between Razzo and Fox. Fox does like to get forward, and Razzo's just really good at getting up in the face of the opposition, and it makes it really hard for them to think clearly and find a pass.
Sullivan, right idea, but well read by Catley. Great feet again by Mary Fowler before Lindsay Horan stuck a toe in. Sullivan into a good area for Pearce. She has support behind her as well. And the cross is useful. Oh, Lynne Williams could so easily have made it too.
That's just not good enough defending there from I think Kaya Simon needs to get back. Tamika Yallop is isolated with 2 US attackers, and we need someone to be tucking in and making that a 2-on-2, because otherwise it allows way too much time for the US players to get their head up and get a cross in. And we need to nullify that cross coming in, because we know how dangerous they are in the box.
Lynne Williams, who became such a firm fan favourite during a stint with the Western Sydney Wanderers a year or 2 back. There's Hayley Raso again, going fox hunting. And now tracking down Tiana Davidson, and away she goes. Hayley Raso, just the final ball missing again. It's still alive though for Sam Kerr. Ellie Carpenter joining in. And is that not quite going to go out for a corner? No. Throwing off Davidson, but Hayley Raso's determination very nearly paying dividends. You've got to get that final ball in.
It's a great run here from Hayley Raso. We talk about her running through brick walls, and she will all day. Just gets it right down to the byline and creates an opportunity.
Carpenter's throw for Nevin. I think she was looking for Tamika Yallop, and that's really not where Sofia Huerta wanted the ball to go. Another corner for Steph Catley to deliver. Sam Kerr looking to make her run. Being watched by Andy Sullivan. Americans get it partly clear. And Kyra Cooney Cross does fire a shot in. Block was made by Davidson. Reset through Nevin. Catley. Again, just not quite the right execution, but the Matildas starting to find their feet a little bit.
It's exciting play. We're getting up there. We're getting crosses in the box. But it's just now the execution on those crosses. It's positive play, though. We're pinning the US defence back, and it's looking good, early signs.
Again, well won by Raso. Mary Fowler just trying to pirouette through that congested midfield area, but it's breaks here for Williams, who steers a lovely ball in. Goodness me, that was so close to the feet of Margaret Pearce. They put a couple of those beautifully angled passes in behind the Australian defence.
And it's perfect weight on the pass as well. We've had a lot of rain down here this afternoon, so often the surface gets slippery. So it makes that way to pass even more difficult, and it's just amazing the execution on that.
Carpenter says to Hayley Raso, off you go, but Emily Fox this time sticking to her guns. One to the American, but it's not too friendly out there. She's smiling, but she doesn't like to be beaten, does she, Hayley Raso?
No, I think it's Hayley Raso getting back a bit what she gives in games as well. It is going to be a very close battle between these two.
Great weapon for Tony Gustafsson to have available once again after injury concerns. A couple of goals for Manchester City in their 5-0 win in the FA Women's Super League a week or 2 back. Oh, that's lovely. By Rose Lavelle. Had the ball on a string. It's Pearce on the turn. Lindsay Horan, they're queuing up here. Williams has to check. Horan again. And straight into the arms of Lydia Williams. But Australia was stretched once again. Ashley Hatch with the final chance. They just couldn't deal with the movement of the Americans, all made by Rose Lavelle. Here they go again. Nobody's tracked Lynne Williams and Horan. Little back heel, Hatch. Too many bodies in the way. And every time the Americans come forward, you fancy them to score. Here's Emily Fox off Carpenter. Anywhere will do for Catley. Back through Andy Sullivan. And the Americans will look to go again. Tina Davidson injecting herself into the attack. And straight at Carpenter, who can drive forward in the opposite direction. Fowler. Lovely ball, Mary Fowler. Sam Kerr away. Needs a bit of help and slipped on the greasy top. I fancy when she went to deliver that centre.
If you have a look at who played that ball in for Sam Kerr, it's Mary Fowler. She's the one that's the link for us in exposing this US backline. She's got the creative spark to undo it, and the combination with her and Sam Kerr is just phenomenal.
Again, they look to guide that ball in behind. Williams is offside here, and she missed anyway. But time and again, that Australian defence looks very square.
Yeah, it is very square. They're very rigid as well, I guess is what I would put it. You talked earlier about the movement from the US players up front. They don't stay in their positions. There's rotations, there's overlapping runs. You've got runs from the midfield through the Australian backline. And we're really struggling to adapt with that. Who tracks, who fills in spaces? And it's something that the Australians really need to sort out early in this game, because it's one of the US's biggest strengths.
That's no good for Kaya Simon, playing on the opposite flank. And she did on Saturday. Tony Gustafsson rather disgustedly retakes his seat. Not often Kyra Cooney-Cross misses a pass, but she did there. Some of the latecomers still taking their seats. Long queues apparently outside, waiting to get in. Over 20,000 tickets sold in Newcastle tonight. And thankfully, that heavy rain, which was almost monsoonal earlier on today, has abated. Here's Horan. Sullivan. Horan just too strong, too savvy for Fowler. Outside of the boot. Little touch by Rose Lavelle. Here's Lynne Williams. Lavelle with time. Williams back through Sullivan. Lavelle, little pocket of space, and a sandwich. There's no offside flag. Lydia Williams, actually the flag does go up belatedly. Lydia Williams had to come out and make that hers. And seems to have hurt herself a little bit in the process. Yeah, it's clearly offside, but what about the little scoop up over the top by Rose Lavelle? She's a very nice footballer, isn't she?
Yeah, she's all class, Rose Lavelle.
Let's quickly go down to Scott McKinnon, who's pitch sides. Noisy down there, Scott?
It is. It's getting louder and louder as people come in after work, knocking off after work. But the kids, they came in nice and early, and they are lining the fence behind me, screaming, shouting at every single moment. They're certainly excited to see Sam Kerr in action. But, yeah, they're going to have to get a bit louder to help cheer these Aussies on. As for the conditions, well, like you say, pouring down rain an hour and a half ago, but the deck in immaculate condition.
Sure is. Thanks, Scott. It's going to be a quarter of Sofia Huerta. Another 20,000 in attendance here tonight. 7th time the Matildas have played in Newcastle. They've won 5 and lost just the once. Guess who that was against? The Americans back in 2000. The old Breakers ground. Here's Catley's out-swinging corner. Kerr trying to get on the end of it. It's Cooney Cross with the volley off the uprights. I think Casey Murphy got a touch as well. Kaya Simon to return it. Off the head of Hatch. And Australia trying to keep up the pressure. It's too much on that by Tamika Yallop, but I fancy Casey Murphy got a slight piece of that, in which case it goes down as a fantastic save. But let's have a look, Georgia. Yep.
Yeah, she looks like she got a fingernail to that one just to push it onto the post. That was definitely going goalward, and I think Kyra Cooney-Cross was nearly celebrating. It was a great little idea, just pop it back in.
Here goes Ellie Carpenter. Lost her footing and has a word with the referee just to ask the question. Casey Murphy, who was so good at the weekend, made 8 saves on debut.
Yeah, she was the biggest difference in the sides last week. She really kept the US side in it, as we have another look at that one.
Carpenter may be suggesting that as she drew her right foot back, there's a little bit of contact from Emily Fox. There's Carpenter again. Puts it out in front of Razzo, but Davidson across to cover it, loops up in the air. Sam Kerr sniffing for an opportunity. The bounce deceives Andy Sullivan. It's a real scrap for the ball before Sullivan eventually steadies things down for the Americans. And here they go down the left with Williams. That'll be tidied up by Courtney Nevin. Well, you're certainly never lacking excitement when you watch the Matildas. Not sure it's good for your heart rates, Georgia.
No, I do feel like I'm having a heart attack half of the time, but they're always exciting. They always seem to create a lot of really good opportunities, and it's really sit on the edge of your seat kind of moments.
Simon held up by Pearce. There's Cooney-Cross. Out for Yallop. Tamika Yallop has played in a fair few positions for Australia. She played that particular spot before down the left-hand side, to your knowledge?
She hasn't in terms of a back 4, but when they play a back 3, she typically plays a wing back.
Yeah.
Which then when you're defending and you drop into a back 5, you're technically a fullback.
Here's the other fullback, Ellie Carpenter, on the charge, as we love to see her do. She's earned a corner. That's what she's good at. Tony Gustafsson, meantime, I can tell you, is asking the crowd to get involved and really lift the team, lift the tempo. Sam Kerr, of course, on 49 international goals. Looking for the half tug as Catley delivers the corner. Cooney-Cross waiting for another opportunity at the top of the box. This is Nevin. Worth a go. She's nicknamed Lethal, I'm told, Georgia. Not quite. From that situation, anyway. I think it's more for a free kick she once scored for the young Matildas. You obviously haven't heard that nickname because you look completely nonplussed when I said that.
No, it's not one I've heard before from Courtney Nevin, but she does have a good strike on her. She can hit a ball, and we see it from her position in her ability to play out wide and drop balls in behind.
Kerr looking to link up with Mary Fowler. We have seen in previous international just what a good understanding those two have together. There's Razzo popping up on the left. Yallop's ball in, but not a comfortable take for Casey Murphy.
I guess that's the one thing that you kind of lose, having Tamika Yallop playing in that left-back position rather than Steph Catley, is Steph Catley's fantastic delivery on her preferred left foot, whereas Tamika Yallop is right-footed, preferably, so you don't get the same kind of consistent delivery.
Steph Catley's down injured at the moment. Head clash, I think, with Margaret Purse, so Australia a little bit short defensively. And that's why the whistle has gone from Park Si-jin, so that they can check on Steph Catley. Went down immediately after that aerial challenge with Margaret Purse. Here it is again. Yeah. You can hear the crowd. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a sore one there for Steph Catley. And they'll be making sure they do all the right assessment. She doesn't look good. She hasn't moved since she's gone down. She'll be a big loss for this Matilda's side, being the most experienced player in that back line.
Well, there are options, of course, on the bench should Steph Catley be unable to continue. And personally, this is only my opinion, George, I don't know if you agree. I'm not sure we've seen enough of Angela Beard. I thought she did well when she came on against Ireland a couple of months back. Not saying that you want to lose Steph Catley, of course, but you take my point.
As a second choice, I think that she could be one that we see come in here. She's definitely got the engines and the speed to play in that centre-back position, which we need at the moment with this fast US attacking line. It'll just be a question around that experience, which I guess you look at the bench and there isn't a whole lot of experience in terms of the defenders.
Well, Steph Catley's got plenty of it. 96th cap tonight. There's one of the Australian substitutes, Rebby Simpson. More of a striker than a defender, of course. Looks a bit groggy, doesn't she? And she's got a big weekend coming up. She's got a cup final for Arsenal against Chelsea at Wembley over in the UK this weekend. She certainly won't want to miss that one. Keep a watching brief on Steph Catley. We've got to be careful, of course, make sure that players don't have concussions. It's very much one of the hot topics at the moment in football, isn't it?
Yeah, they're doing a really good job at making sure that they're protecting the players before we're worried about the game. And they'll be doing all the assessments on the sideline, testing her balance and her responsiveness to make sure she's all right to play on if they are to put her back on the field.
So just for the moment, Ellie Razzo dropping deeper into that right fullback role with Ellie Carpenter, Courtney Nevin in the centre, and Tamika Yallop on the left. They've got to be careful they don't concede a second whilst they're a player short.
Now this is going to be an interesting question mark for me, of Ellie Carpenter playing in that centre-back role. We saw it late in the game on Saturday, but you can tell in the way that she plays centre-back that she doesn't really want to be there. She still tries to get forward and be that attacking option. But if she's to assess what this team needs from her at the moment, we need her to plug that defensive role well.
As you can hear from the cheers, Steph Catley is back with us. So Ellie can resume her more preferred role. Yeah, Tony Gustafsson said it. It's about adaptability. Van Egmond. A little bit risky. I'm not sure that was intentional either off Sam Kerr, but it worked out okay. Lindsay Horrick getting tight on Mary Fowler, just trying to get the throw. Razzo again making the initial block. Back by Fox for Horan. Sullivan goes down. Razzo just a little bit too eager in the opinion of the referee. She thinks that's a bit soft. What's your view, Georgia?
Yeah, look, I think that this is just Hayley Razzo's way of playing the game. She's always going to argue that it's a soft call, but I think there's enough in it. There's body contact.
Again, a bit strong at Van Egmond. Tied it up here by Fox. Up wide by Lavelle for Huerta. Who actually won 4 caps for the Mexican national team before making an international switch back in 2017. Here's Hatch. And Williams trying to get away from Nevin, who might have just tried to hold her back there. You could see by the way the defender threw the arms out wide as if to say, no, I didn't do that. Sometimes you give yourself away. Meantime, Lavelle. And Fox was underneath it, but harmlessly behind from the Matilda's point of view. Courtney Nevin took a little bit of a risk there.
Yeah, look, I think that Williams probably could have been making a bit of a bigger deal about being held back. In the end, Courtney Nevin did really well to just shut down that threat.
Yellup's been dispossessed by Pearce. In towards Williams. Well, again, it's harmlessly behind, but those chances created all too easily for the Americans.
I think at this stage, the Americans are just winning that one-on-one battle.
Now, here's this earlier opportunity. That's actually the one for Ellie Fox. Wanted to see the one with Courtney Nevin involved, but anyway, here's Razzo. That's easy enough for Murphy. Useful ball. Again, the run wasn't tracked initially by Simon. American coach. Vlatko Andonovski. Trying to walk in the footsteps of Kia Sundaj and Jill Ellis. Here's a chance. Lindsay Horan. In the end, you've got to give credit there to Courtney Nevin, who did enough to put her opposite number off.
Great defending there by Courtney Nevin. She sees the threat, she recovers really well. Just enough of the use of the body to put Lindsay Horan off.
Good desperation shown by Courtney Nevin, who'll play for Melbourne Victory. The A-League women this season. Lovely ball by Steph Catley. Razzo turned into traffic, and it's her old adversary, Emily Fox, who wins the day. Horan, again, they're looking for that angle ball in behind, this time for Pearce. Can't get it right every time.
No, but the way that they're looking for it all the time tells me they know they've got the speed advantage there.
Carpenter slaloming her way through, still going. She just loves to get forward, doesn't she, Ellie? Sam Kerr saying, just give me an opportunity. Give me some service.
She only needs one, doesn't she? She's very prolific in front of goals.
She hasn't had one yet, though, has she? That's the problem. Yep, normally she delivers, and we echo the congratulations for a third-place finish in the Ballon d'Or announced earlier on today. Razo's not going to get that. Donald Jones Stadium, picture perfect tonight now that the rain has blown away. Strong run by Emily Fox. Puts it out in front of Lynne Williams. And Hayley Raso, I can tell you, has remained down. Those two are having a real scrap down this touchline, Fox and Raso. And this time Raso has come off second best.
Yeah, it looks like she's grabbing onto that right arm. We know that she
Is that the one that's had the problems in the past?
Yeah, she's been sitting out games lately with...
Oh, yeah, Emily Fox has landed full weight on that arm. That could be a problem for Hayley Raso.
Yeah, it looks really sore, this one. She's been out for a while with a shoulder injury. And this, to me, doesn't look good.
Well, the good news is that the arm is moving.
She is tough. I've seen her play through a lot of pain and a lot of bad injuries. So if she can play on, she will.
Well, famously, of course, she broke her back, didn't she, a few years ago? How on earth you come back from an injury like that to play professional sports at this level is extraordinary, and a testament to her.
Shows her determination as a footballer. I remember her talking about the fact she wasn't sure if she would walk again, and now look at her in a battle with Fox on the near sideline.
Yeah, one final test of that injured shoulder, and yeah, I'm good to go, coach. And that little break might just given Tony Gustafsson an opportunity to reassert his message. But I think the big question overall, and this first half has probably not provided the answers as yet, Georgia, is where are they at ahead of the major tournaments? How much more improvement is required? On the base of these games, yeah, they're playing the best team in the world, but there's still a fair bit, isn't there?
Yeah, the big one for me is they have to learn to win the big moments in matches. Conceding goals early, you can't be doing that. You need to be making sure that's a big moment that you need to be winning, and it's also scoring the chances that you get. And that's, to me, the only difference between these two sides out there. The US are going to score their chances, and we're conceding half chances.
Off the head of Van Egmond, Kaya Simon, who's stayed down on the deck just briefly. I think it's probably a problem with the boots rather than any injury concern. Raso got a bit fortunate there, but will fire it across. Here's Sam Kerr. Mary Fowler, can they find the angle? Simon calling for it, delivers over the head of Kerr, up in the air it goes off Emily Fox. An awkward up and under for Alana Cook, but she dealt with that really well, and in fairness, there wasn't much pressure around her either. The Americans casual, look like a handball, that's on Rose Lavelle. Tony Gustafsson is out of the technical zone, remonstrating with the referee. Australia continue. Raso feeding Carpenter. Carpenter's ball in and Kerr at the near post. That's the sort of service she needs.
That's a brilliant ball in there from Ellie Carpenter, and that's what she provides when she's able to get further up the pitch. Sam Kerr with the run in front. As we see that handball, that was a clear handball outside the box, yes, but it's a clear handball. And then Sam Kerr, it's half a chance. Give her another one, and I'm sure it's going in the back of the net.
see she's frustrated by the fact that she's missed, but there's sort of a half smile. It's like feeding time, isn't it, for her? She can sense that something's perhaps going to happen. Here's yellow. 2 American players to deal with, and that was one too many. Here's Lavelle. Very neat and tidy footballer. Away goes Peirce. Bit heavy off Hatch. Now Lindsay Horan. Will loop up over the top for a goal kick. She's had a couple of chances, the American captain, first half. 27-year-old who forsook going to college so she could immediately turn pro in France. She spent 4 years with Paris Saint-Germain. Many of these American players that do that. Oh, Courtney Nevin got lucky. Van Egmond has completely lost her bearings. Nevin thumps it forward, chested down by Razzo, inviting Carpenter forward. Away she goes again. Opted for the early release, but Davidson was in the road. Nicely cleaned up by Emily Fox. Now the pitch opens up on the right for Sofia Huerta. Drifting into spaces, Peirce. Oh, and again. Australia too slow to react to that possible danger, and they were just fortunate, Georgia, that it was a poor first touch from Peirce.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there with Courtney Nevin and Steph Catley, whether they were trying to play a high line to play Peirce offside or if they just got caught in behind. But they need to be communicating better there, because it was a great chance, and if Peirce had another shot at it, I'm sure she would have been able to bring it down with a better touch.
Driving run from Emily Fox. Far too much weight on the pass, though. Couple of minutes of the first half to play. What's your overall assessment, Georgia?
I think that there's a lot of positives to take out of it in terms of our attack. They need to be better in their final pass and their crossing. And there's definitely still some question marks defensively.
Here's Horan in towards that near post. Rose Lavelle was arriving. Sofia Huerta will win the foot race and turn it over the top of everybody. No problems for Lynne Williams on that occasion.
I think we're looking a lot at the back line as well, and you know, where we're conceding chances. But for me, we need our midfielders to be able to relieve pressure, which we're not getting. They're winning the midfield battle at the moment, and granted they've got a lot of experience in there with Lindsay Horan and Rose Lavelle, but that's where I think we need to be better, because if we can win that midfield battle, it takes pressure off our inexperienced back line.
Maybe a question that hasn't been asked a lot in recent internationals, Georgia, but how much of an absence is Elise Kellum-Knight in that part of the pitch? Maybe get your answer on that in a moment. Here's Lynne Williams. And support might go on her own. Could be a tap in. Oh, and Peirce could only find the side netting, maybe a bit of the post as well. And the Americans opened up the Matildas once again.
It's another fantastic opportunity here for the Americans. Look at the numbers that they commit forward and get in the box. If Lynne Williams is able to get that on her left foot and put a little bit more curl on it, it'll hold up, and Peirce has got to tap in at the back post.
So back to Elise Kellum-Knight as we enter 2 minutes of stoppage time.
she's a huge loss for the Matildas. She played that holding midfielder so well for so many years, and her presence in there and her communication and her organisation is something that we're really missing. We've had to create a makeshift defensive midfielder in Emily Van Egmond, and although she does well at keeping the ball and setting the tempo of the play, she hasn't quite got the defensive mindset of Elise Kellon-Knight, who did spend a lot of time of her career playing at left back. So she's got that switch between defensive and attacking minded.
KK still a while away from a return. So too, of course, Chloe Lagazzo, who sadly did that ACL in the game against Ireland back in September. Here's Fox. Plays it off Carpenter. Another important team talk coming up for Tony Gustafsson. Team with just one win in their last 6 games now, which did come against Brazil in the first of that 2-game series last month. It's going to be a free kick for the Americans. Infringement by Catley on Purse. Might have been won by Nevin beforehand.
Yeah, it was an important challenge there from Catley as well. As you see, we had Courtney Nevin and Ellie Carpenter out of the back line.
Williams just helping it along into the box. Catley clears. And that is half-time. And it's a familiar tale, you'd have to say, for the Matildas. Some good moments going forward. Kyra Cooney-Cross hit the post after Casey Murphy had fingertipped it onto the frame of the goal, but Ashley Hatch reprising her early goal-scoring heroics from Sydney on Saturday. A goal after 3 minutes and 16 seconds, just the one half chance for Sam Kerr. And again, they've got it all to do in Newcastle. At the break, the Matildas 0, United States 1.
There is still the cracking atmosphere here at the Donald-Jones Stadium in Newcastle. The crowd are absolutely loving the action. We are off to a short break, though. Stick around, or the wash-up from an entertaining first half on the other side.
Yeah, mine too.
All set to go for the second half here in Newcastle. The teams still divided by that early Ashley Hatch goal. Real case of deja vu after Sydney on Saturday. And we did see Georgie Overdale, Alana Kennedy warming up during the half-time break. There will be changes at some point, and she will be one. But for the time being, both teams going with the same personnel.
Yeah, Alana Kennedy will be a planned sub. She's got limited minutes in her, but I'm sure we'll see her early in this second half.
Lindsay Horan going down in hope of a free kick, and I will call her Horan second half, not Horan, the English pronunciation. Sam Kerr brought down, and referee Park wants a word with Andy Sullivan. There is Alana Kennedy. Over 100 caps now for a country, but still in recovery from that quad injury. No Claire Polkinghorn, of course, tonight. She's not involved even on the bench. That's why this defence once again has a rather experimental feel about it.
Yeah, well, it has been a problem for the Matildas for many years. That lack of depth in the centre-back positions. And now we've seen we're without both of our starting centre-backs, and we've got no one to fill in those positions.
Here's Horan. Touch it back towards Huerta. Dink by Sullivan. Van Egmond clears it away, partly anyway. Steadied down by Fowler. Could do with getting a bit more out of Mary Fowler as well, second half, the Matildas. Here's Horan, and Yallop just stuck out a boot for the throw.
Well, that's probably one criticism I have of Mary Fowler, and it's a development area for her, remembering she's only very young. When we do get her involved in the play, she's fantastic. She creates so many options and opportunities, but she goes missing.
That's a useful ball by Van Egmond, and Razzo's away. This was a touch short for Sam Kerr. She goes round the outside, Sam Kerr. Well, she only needs half a sniff of goal. And to be fair, that release from Hayley Razzo, as exciting as the run was, could have been a little bit better, but it brought the crowd to their feet.
Yeah, great run forward from Hayley Razzo, but that ball just stops Sam Kerr in her tracks. She does well to get around and able to get a shot off, but not on target. It's a good early start here for the Matildas in this second half.
Still got to be mindful defensively. Actually well defended in the end by Courtney Nevin. Ellie Carpenter has lost a shin pad. Steered away off the head of Catley. Davidson telegraphed that one straight at Razzo. Chance to stretch her legs again. Van Egmond, Fowler tightly watched by Davidson. Just haven't been given an awful lot of room to breathe, has she, Mary Fowler, which again is to the credit of this rather inexperienced American side as well. We go on a lot about the absentees for the Matildas, but the Americans are missing all their big stars, Rapinoe and Carly Lloyd, Alex Morgan, Mallory Pugh. None of them here in Australia.
Yeah, I guess the big difference for the American side is for many years we look at their squad lineup, and probably their first three teams could beat a lot of teams internationally because they've got such a big depth in quality.
Here's Rose Lavelle, a clearance from Lynne Williams. Quite have enough depth on it. Dug out well by Cooney Cross. This is Kaya Simon. And a bit of respite for the Matildas. Tamika Yallop now, of course, playing in the FA Women's Super League over in England for West Ham United. Where she'd really like to go is to be able to see her family. I don't think she's seen them for about 6 months, has she? Applying for quarantine permits all over the place and then refuse them.
Yeah, it's tough for a lot of these girls who haven't seen their family in a long time. especially to make a Yallop with a young child.
There's Hatch, scored the game's only goal so far. Sherry back through Sullivan. Puerta. Fox. That was the right idea, wasn't it? Now she's off giving chase to Haley Razzo. They've had a real scrap, those two. Simon has placed it too far in front of Razzo. Actually, Emily Fox almost seems to have free range. She's a left fullback, really, but she pops up all over the pitch, almost as a creative playmaker at times.
Yeah, it's almost like Ellie Carpenter, the way that we see her get forward.
Here is Fox. Trying to angle it out towards Ellie Carpenter. Needed to get the protractor out, didn't really have the angles correct. Flick forward and Rose Lavelle is after it, so too is Catley. Well defended. Score of that outrageous free kick against Kuya in the UEFA Women's Champions League. Saw it on the pre-game show. Going for a free kick in that sort of range for Australia tonight. Tamika Yallop wants an option. Not an awful lot of movement. They make incremental progress up the touchline. Through Lynne Williams. Not 100% smooth this from the Matildas, but they've still got possession. It's neatly done by Kaya Simon. But even that release was just not quite accurate enough, and Emily Fox now being pursued by Ellie Carpenter. And Carpenter collected her opponent, and the referee, about 20,000 Novocastrians disagree.
It's a great crowd we have out here tonight as we have another look at that one. Ellie Carpenter, I don't see much in that. I don't have a problem shoulder to shoulder. The referee thinks otherwise.
Talking of that crowd, 20,495. That is a new Matildas record here in Newcastle. Well done to this city. Free kick taken by Lavelle. Mary Fowler swings and clears, all in one movement to relieve the pressure. Been the one big bonus of this series so far for the Matildas. Crowds have really turned up in terrific numbers. They would love to see a goal. Razzo down again. And belatedly, Australia got the whistle. Suggestion potentially of a handball on Mary Fowler there. Again, the arm is tucked into the body. What's the phrasing now? It has to be outside your natural silhouette.
Yeah, look, I can't keep up with the handball rules, to be honest. That's why they bring in VAR, but the US were definitely shouting for a handball on that occasion.
My silhouette would be a bit bigger than yours, George. Inside the penalty area. Cover up about half the penalty box, I think. Here's Huerta. Horan. she get clear of Yallop. Lavelle in position. They work the triangles well there, the Americans. Still Rose Lavelle. She actually created the angle quite nicely there. Didn't really wrap her boot around it well enough. She's such a good player. She's one I've enjoyed watching, the midfielder from OL Reign, girl from Cincinnati. There's a chance here brewing for Lynne Williams. Cross a little too high from Andy Sullivan. Antonovsky looks pretty comfortable with life at the moment. The next big tournament is the CONCACAF Championship in 2022. You won't be surprised to hear they're the reigning champions in that competition. Straight will find the gap for Kerr, and in turn she finds the gap for Hayley Raso. Here's a chance for the Matildas. It's a good challenge by Emily Fox. It's going to be a corner, might have been a bit more.
Look at this release ball from Sam Kerr. She picks it up, faces forward, and splits that back line. The coaching staff for the Australian team was screaming for a penalty. But I think that it's a well-timed challenge there from the American.
The Australian crowd back to life. It's going to be Catley's corner. Strong header clear by Lindsay Horan. Back in by Nevin. To no great effect. And the ground falls quiet once again.
It was an exciting moment seeing the Matildas get up the park and creating that opportunity for Hayley Raso. We haven't done a lot with our corners in this game, and with the aerial threat that Sam Kerr provides, Kaya Simon great in the air, we're not finding those players.
Van Egmond's probably had a little bit more time than she realised there. Hurried release didn't help Kaya Simon.
Sophia Huerta taking the throw in here and playing at fullback.
There's Lynne Williams trying to bend it. Oh, and Lydia Williams, her namesake, stretched out well to the left to tip it behind for an American corner.
Great strike here from Lynne Williams. But Sophia Huerta came over to Australia playing as a striker, scoring 8 goals in 12 appearances for Adelaide. She was a standout in that for that team, and then came back and said, I want to play fullback because that's where I'm going to get in the national team. And now look at her, up against us.
She's done it. Here's Lavelle's corner. And Williams should be easy pickings on this. I think she got 3rd place in the Julie Dolan medal that year, didn't she, Sophia Huerta?
Yeah, Adelaide Player of the Year. She was definitely one to look out for.
Here's Sam Kerr, dropping deep to try and get a bit of the action. She's been largely isolated. Not quite for Cooney Cross, and then a touch of frustration by the Matilda skipper. Feels it's time she leads a bit by example.
Look who it is again, Emily Fox. She's been everywhere. She's definitely a good find there for the US team. Fantastic fullback.
She was first pick in the NWSL college draft in 2021 by Racing Louisville. Carpenter. Nicely clear of her opponents. Fowler having a check. Up on by Van Egmond, Jallup. Simon. That's nice. Jallup tries to wrap the boot around it, or Murphy spilled it, and Razzo was just waiting to pull the trigger. And Lynne Williams is back doing her defensive duty. First time the goalkeeper's been under a little bit of pressure here, Georgia.
It was a great ball in there from Tamika Jallup. Puts it into a dangerous area, and Sam Kerr in there to challenge.
Mistake by Jallup. Purse strikes forward. Leaves it for Lavelle. It's a rare miscue from Rose Lavelle with a weaker right foot. Reading a great story about her this week. She once broke her leg on a garden swing at home and didn't tell her parents for 2 days because she wanted to continue playing football. She was only 5 years old at the time. That's how much in love she was with the sport. Jallup, goal side of Margaret Purse, who made things rather awkward. Tamika Jallup, she's had a good game too. Margaret Purse, known as Midge to her teammates.
It's the unveiling of so many future stars for this US side. They've come with an inexperienced, experimental squad, yet the quality across this group is so high. And you've got to attribute that to the college system that they have in place and just the sheer number of players that they're producing.
A sign of Margaret Purse's confidence, she went with Megan Rapinoe to visit President Joe Biden and talk about equal pay for female athletes. He's looking to get on the end of that one, but it'll dribble through all the way to Lydia Williams. Here she is, Margaret Purse. Plays for Gotham FC in the NWSL. They play out of New York, New Jersey. Great name for a football club. It's a great touch too by Kerr, getting involved in the game. Razzo's away. Is this the moment for the Matildas? Not quite. Behind it goes off Alana Cook. Corner ball. Razzo's having an impact. Started to link up a bit with Sam Kerr.
She's so great when she gets the ball and runs forward at the back line. The thing that Hayley Razzo really needs to improve in her game is that final pass. She's now got up there 3 or 4 times and it's just unable to pick out a player in the box.
Australia's 6th corner. And they make it tell. Catley's delivery. Courtney Nevin needed to make that. Could be problems brewing here. That is a really crucial intervention from Kyra Cooney-Cross, potentially a goal-saving one.
Fantastic recovery run. She's come straight for the ball and she had to get it because if she didn't, there was no one left to defend in the middle.
And just as a by-the-by, that was a foul throw as well from Rose Lavelle from the restart, but anyway. Oh, Nevin has not dealt with that one. Williams on the bounce, just beat Purse. She'll track it down though and bring in her captain, Lindsay Horan. Useful ball, and arriving late was Williams. That's a couple of chances she's had off the head. And hasn't yet been able to hit the target, but it was a delicious ball in from Lindsay Horan.
Great ball across here, and the run from Williams just to get in front of Jallup was perfect. Just missing the finish. And I feel like this US side is just not quite as clinical as they were on Saturday night, because they have had the opportunities but on Saturday night they were absolutely ruthless in finishing them.
No changes off the bench for either team as yet. It's the Americans' 12th shot of the game. 5 have been on target. Australia with just the 1 all game. That's a worry too. Here's Tierney Davidson. Around being hassled and harassed by Ellie Razzo. Determination by Pearce, but Captain got away from her. Good first touch by Carpenter. The Americans calm and composed at the back. They play through the lines before Ellie Carpenter says enough of that. Just under 25 minutes left of the 2-game series. The last minutes that Tony Gustafsson will have to try and work things out before that Women's Asian Cup in India in January. Who would you like to have a look at, Georgia, off the bench, given the choice?
I'd like to see more of Claire Wheeler. I think in all the times that she's come off the bench, she's proven that she can play at international level. And I don't know why Tony Gustafsson hasn't seen her as a starting player yet, because for me, she's fantastic. She's probably the one that's most ready to play at this level out of the younger players. And then the next one would be Charlie Grant.
Will Murphy almost put it on her plates, didn't she? For the fast-arriving Ellie Razzo. Tony Gustafsson quite forcefully has just shouted to one of his charges off the bench to come and get ready. So change is imminent for the Matildas. So Emily Gilnick, I think, is to be introduced. But before that, Alana Kennedy. Might be a double change. Anyway. It's oh so neatly done by Tierney Davidson. Beautiful little pirouette to get herself out of trouble. Now Lindsay Horan on the charge, the American captain. Unlike her, to give a poor ball for Lynne Williams, and it might open the door for Australia at the other end. Sophia Huerta ensures that's not the case, at least for now. Rose Lavelle driving through the guts of the Australian defence. She has options on the left. 2 of them. Here's Williams. Lynne Williams blazes over the top. Might be the signal for changes on both benches. Because the Americans are going to make a couple of changes as well. Goal scorer Ashley Hatch is going to be one of those to be withdrawn, along with Margaret Pearce. We're going to see a second cap for Morgan Weaver as a replacement for the early goal scorer of what is at the moment the game's only goal. And we're also going to see the introduction of Christy Mewis as a replacement for Pearce. There is Christy Mewis, 30-year-old from Houston Dash. And of course, is partner of Australia's Sam Kerr, as has been well documented this week in various publications.
I'm sure they'll be putting that aside here tonight. Great player in her own right. Christy Mewis spent a little bit of time in Canberra in the A-League many years ago.
Australia just waiting to make their double change. That moment might arrive right now. And they're looking around and saying, where's the fourth official with the board? You heard it loud and clear from Tony Gustafsson. Stop.
Thank you.
We want to make some changes, Georgia.
Number 19. He doesn't go about things quietly, Tony Gustafsson. Fair enough. They were ready to make the same changes when the US team were, so he wanted to make his point as we see the introduction of Alana Kennedy.
Yep, Alana Kennedy on, Kyra Cooney cross, and Hayley Raza withdrawn, and Emily Gilnick also introduced. It's her 50th cap for the Matildas, so nice little milestone for Emily Gilnick, who's missed one or two of the recent internationals with injury problems.
And with these changes, you see the versatility of Yallop. She's now gone from a left-back role to sit in a midfield position. And Steph Catley back into her preferred position at left-back.
The changes make the difference for the Matildas. And for all their defensive concerns, it's not often they go 2 games without scoring a goal. So looking increasingly likely. So the Americans getting around the blind side, and Lewis went down right on the edge of the box there under the weight of Carpenter's challenge. The referee not interested in anything untowards, but that'll be an interesting one. We get to see a replay of it.
So we just have a look at that one. Ellie Carpenter, clear contact there for me. I understand why Christy Mewis is spewing she didn't get a call on that one. Yes, she's probably gone down. And then you see the ball roll over the end line. I'm not sure what's going on there. The referee's fallen asleep for a second. But we've played on, and then Sam Kerr's nearly gone up the other end.
Yeah, you can imagine the Americans would have had a bit to say about that had that become 1-1. Referees don't get everything right during the 90 minutes. Just in case that was breaking news to you.
We all expect them to, though, don't we?
Everybody makes mistakes. We all do. Here's LaBelle. And Courtney Nevin sees it out safely for a corner. I just think she's great to watch, LaBelle. Beautifully balanced player. She's sort of like the American version of Mary Fowler in many ways.
Yeah, she's a
and that's probably an insult,
dribbler,
to be fair, isn't it? Because she's so experienced, Rose LaBelle. I don't mean it that way, but I mean in terms of styles of player. Brought down by Fox.
Yeah, Rose Lavelle's a player who has kind of changed the way that the US play. When she was first introduced into the US national team, she was different to how they usually play in their physical attributes, and she was the one that was the dribbler and the finesse on the ball and the exciting one to watch. And it's kind of changed the way that the US system works.
Which is a big compliment to her. Here goes Ellie Carpenter being pursued by Lynne Williams, but Carpenter's done well. Again, it was just a touch short of Gielnik. Australia's execution at times in the final third hasn't been the best. Case in point, Emily van Egmond.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that shot there from Emily van Egmond. We haven't had a lot of shots on goal, but she wasn't well positioned to strike that ball. A little bit off balance, and it's come off the outside of her foot. Probably a little bit of frustration given the lack of opportunities that we've had going forward in the last 15 minutes.
Fowler wriggles clear, threads it through for Sam Kerr, who's trying to chip it in, but the flag is up. And just a little glimpse of excitement there for the Matildas, and that combination again, Fowler and Kerr, but she was off.
Despite that offside, what a ball in from Mary Fowler, and Sam Kerr just trying her luck at that little chip ball. These two players, when they combine in the final third, are just such a delight to watch.
And Claire Polkinghorne and Caitlin Fords, Elise Kellen-Knight watching on in the stands.
So much experience sitting in the stands,
Yeah.
isn't it?
How many caps there? Probably close to 300. And all unavailable for one reason or another. However, Imani Dorsey is available for the Americans, the 25-year-old defender from Maryland, and she is about to make her international debut at the expense of Emily Fox, who has been absolutely outstanding tonight. So Fox takes her leave on the far side. And one of the only two uncapped players left in the American squads before tonight is on for her debut. She will now come up against Emily Gielnik, so maybe there's a chance for Australia to exploit a little bit of an experience down that right-hand side. No disrespect to Emily Gielnik, but you sort of half wish Hayley Raso was still on, because she would sort of relish that with her speed and tenacity. Emily Gielnik, great player, but different sort of player.
Yeah, very different styles between the two of them. Emily Gielnik's a lot more one-directional in her running and her physicality. Hayley Raso, so agile when she gets on the ball, and you don't know where she's going.
Again, the execution is awry, this time from Kaya Simon. Australia have had several of those good field positions. Instead, they find themselves chasing the ball. Worked out by Lynne Williams for Haran. Lavelle on the turn, straight at Lydia Williams. It's so smooth in transition.
Yeah, and we talk about that rotation of the front players for the US team. Lindsay Horan is picking up the ball up in the top left corner, and she's a central midfielder. And Australia has no players tracking her into that space, and that's why she gets there with so much time and space. The Australians need to figure out if they're going to have a player follow her from the midfield, or if you're going to pass on and one of your defenders is then going to pick her up. But it's the movement that's really bringing these Australian defenders undone.
Davidson up against Kerr. Sam Kerr wins her team a throw. So we edge towards the final 10 minutes in Newcastle. There's just really one moment of panic that I can remember for Casey Murphy, who was very much in action on Saturday in Sydney. Those 8 saves she made, but she's been well protected so far tonight. Oh, now Tamika Yallop's been caught, and the Americans have the chance to see that. That's a really good tackle. Steph Catley, top marks.
That's a fantastic tackle there from Steph Catley. Probably a goal-saving tackle there too.
foul for certain. Tamika Yallop. And a booking, which we don't get too many of in friendlies. There's that tackle by Steph Catley, though. Brilliant.
Brilliant tackle, and she needed to make it at that time.
Lindsay Horan, meantime, booked for that another physical challenge on Tamika Yallop, and the Americans have made another change, I can tell you. Lynne Williams has been replaced. She's had a good couple of chances to score tonight as well. And Ashley Sanchez, 22-year-old midfielder from Washington Spirit, is on for just her second international cap. It's Kaya Simon. Struggled to get into the game, but she could still have an impact in towards Sam Kerr. Didn't get a touch.
Other than her defensive presence, Alana Kennedy comes on the field and you just see her ability to switch the ball straight out to Kaya Simon. That pass out wide just opens up the space, gives Kaya a bit of time to look up and pick out Sam Kerr.
The other thing she does is she's pretty loud on the pitch as well. She talks perhaps some of her younger teammates through difficult situations, and when you've got somebody with, you know, with the greatest respect, Courtney Nevin, who's not that experienced alongside her, sometimes that helps.
Yeah, well, we saw it on Saturday. Both players in Jess Nash and Courtney Nevin are good players in their own right, but when you play them next to each other and they're both inexperienced, probably a little bit nervous, you're asking a lot of questions.
Here come the Americans again. Puerta. Worked out for Horan. Awkward ball in, and Alana Kennedy took responsibility. Again, that's that experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, the attendance for today's match is 20,490.
Americans going to make another double change presently. Emily Sonnet and Becky Sauerbrunn are going to be with us next break in play. I think other than the reserve goalkeepers, Georgia, Becky Sauerbrunn is the only player who hasn't seen any action so far in this two-game series from the American side of things. She's the most experienced at 36.
Yeah, imagine being able to bring Becky Sauerbrunn off the bench and injecting her into this game. She's got so much experience, and I'm sure just even being in and around this camp with the younger, less experienced players should be able to pass on a lot of knowledge.
She is Becky Sauerbrunn on the left. About to come on for what will be a 199th cap. Some staggering numbers the Americans have. They play pretty much as often as a club team, don't they?
Knowing the way that the Americans operate, I'm sure they wouldn't have wanted her playing both games and knocking up her 200th cap in a game in Australia. They'll be reserving that for one at home.
That's fair.
Where they can celebrate her the way that they should be.
And you can celebrate, Georgia, because your girl's about to come on, Claire Wheeler. Meantime, the bounce has deceived the Australian defence, and there was a chance for Morgan Weaver, but she's put it straight at Lydia Williams. And again, those defensive issues remain problematic. Lavelle getting in ahead of Carpenter and placing it out in front of Mewis. Lavelle again. Catley gets it away, and then Van Egmond further clear. Stolen back by Gilnick. 5 minutes to go in Newcastle. Here are those changes. First up, it's going to be another look at Claire Wheeler in place of Tamika Yallop. On for a 5th cap, the 23-year-old gets a big cheer, of course, because she is formerly with the Newcastle Jets, so hometown girl, even though she was born in Coffs Harbour, started her career with Adamstown Rosebud. Meantime, changes for the Americans. So Emily Sonnet is on. She started at right back on Saturday. And as mentioned, Becky Sauerbrunn, Sofia Huerta and Andy Sullivan, the 2 players to be withdrawn for the US. Australian defensive line preparing to try and creep forward and squeeze the space ahead of this free kick from Tiana Davidson. Van Egmond. The defence under a little bit of pressure. Carpenter, Gilnick. Kennedy. And Nevin. It's a rather hopeful ball by Courtney Nevin. Good scrapping by Wheeler. It's a big round of applause from the gallery. In towards Kerr. Kaya Simon, deflection, in! Australia equalise! A big touch of good fortune about him, and Kaya Simon will claim that one. And it's 1-1. And to be brutally honest, it didn't really look likely. But a slice of luck. Sometimes just what you need.
Look at this tackle here from Claire Wheeler. Since she's come in, she's been lively and all about it. Sam Kerr lays it off. And Kaya Simon puts it towards goal. Lucky deflection. But look at the score. We're 1-1 here against the US.
Well, Casey Murphy had no chance with that one as it looped into the back of the net off substitute Becky Sauerbrunn. And it's a mixture of surprise and ecstasy on the faces of the Matildas, particularly Kaya Simon, who missed an absolute sitter on Saturday. So redemption for her. And the Matildas maybe about to get what seemed, in fairness, Georgia, a rather unlikely draw. They hadn't really put the American goal under too much threat, but they found a goal out of nowhere.
Yeah, they have, and now it's a focus on staying in this game, because we talk about big moments in games, and this is a big one. So we have another look. Oh, it's off Becky Sauerbrunn. Just come on the field, most experienced player in this camp, and an unfortunate deflection. But these Matildas, they need to stay in this game because the US will come firing here, and we see it through Rose Lavelle now.
Yeah, we can guarantee there will be more pressure in the minutes that remain, and there are not too many of them. It's a 27th international goal for Kaya Simon. Even if many, I'm sure, would put it down as an own goal, you try taking that past Kaya Simon, no chance. First goal for a country since one against Thailand back in February of last year. Strange thing is, Australia lost 3-0 on Saturday. They might draw this game. I think their performance on Saturday was probably better. Just goes to show you that results don't always tell you everything. I don't know whether you agree, Georgia.
I don't disagree. I think their game on Saturday, there was a lot of positives to take from it. I don't think 3-0 reflected the game in itself. But I think in this game, what we've done better is we've scrambled better. We've had better individual defensive efforts. Whereas in the game on Saturday, we didn't really have those players making big tackles like we have in this second half.
Well, we're not quite there yet. Matilda's Simon will see that one out. It's another throw for the Americans. Which their skipper, Haran, will take. She's been outstanding tonight as well. 4 minutes to be added. We've played almost the first of those. Emily Sodett to shape for the long throw. It's flipped off the boot of Fowler, but back with Sodett. It's a decent ball in. Lindsay Haran gave it everything to try and get there, retrieved by Weaver. Back through Davidson, queuing up the Americans. Chance for Horan! Oh, the flag's up! To deny the Americans what they thought was the winner. She's offside. Goodness me, that's how close it was. It's the right decision, though.
Yeah, clear offside there. The crowd cheering that offside call almost as much as they cheered Kaya Simon's goal. Exciting finish to this one.
Yeah, you can say that again. They're not boring, that's for sure. There's the bell, not going to be able to run that one down. Such as the high standard that the Americans set, they will, I'm sure, Georgia, see this almost as a defeat.
Yeah, and what I'm loving most about these last few minutes is Australia's drive to get the ball back in play and get further up the field. It's that you can tell they've got that belief that they can actually win this game. Even though they've probably been outplayed and the US have had the better of the chances so far in this game. This is our Aussie mentality, and they're going forward to win this one.
Could they perhaps do that? Here's Sam Kerr. Too many defenders around her. 50,000 fans in total have turned up to watch these two games. They've been fascinating contests. This will give the Matildas a real fillip ahead of that Women's Asian Cup. Back-to-back home losses is never an easy thing to swallow ahead of a major tournament, no matter how good the opposition. No matter how the goal arrived, they'll take it. Sometimes you need that little bit of good fortune. Good scrapping by Nevin. Time almost up in Newcastle. Weaver trying to spin away from Catley. Might just be time for one more push from the Americans. That is full time, and the cheers you can hear around the stadium will tell you all you need to know. That was tough going for the Matildas, but they hung in there, and thanks to Kaya Simon's deflected shot that looped in past Casey Murphy, they get a draw in the second game of the series, despite the fact that the Americans were well on top for much of the game. And the Matildas will head to the Women's Asian Cup in good spirits, having avoided defeat against the mighty United States for just the 6th time in 33 meetings. It wasn't the win they wanted. That tally remains at just the 1 back in 2017. But that scoreline looks a whole lot better tonight, doesn't it, than it did on Saturday. Full time in Newcastle. Australia 1, United States 1.
Well, that is definitely an easier scoreline to digest for the girls in the green and gold. The 20,000 strong crowd here at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle were riding every single wave as the second half edged closer to its close, and that luckily deflected goal from Kaya Simon, her 27th international goal, was all that it took to draw the scores even. You feel like Grace Gill and Andy Harper, a goal was deserved across the series when you look at the two-game series played. The Saturday result 3-0. Tonight, 1-1 between both of these sides. You do feel like the Matildas, they were lucky in the end because they had to hang on by the tips of their fingertips.
Yeah, look, I think that's a really fair statement, Tara, and I think the US probably dominated this game throughout the majority of those minutes, halves. That bit of good luck, a bit of good fortune at the end there. It came from a really important intervention from Claire Wheeler, who was a late inclusion into the subs. But the US women's national team, they will be disappointed with that, but Australia have a lot to be proud about coming away with a point.
Grace, I think so. This is going to be great fun talking about this team from now until the World Cup and beyond. And when the A-League Women starts on the weekend, we can factor that in as well because we need more options. But for the girls who represented our country tonight, they were so strong. They're under enormous pressure. People need to really appreciate just how strong American women's football is. There's 300 million Americans. There are 300 college first division programs. Most of them have women's programs, pumping out talent, athletic talent. The numbers are stacked against us, and our girls held on really, really well tonight, and they got the reward in the end. I'm really happy for them.
They did get the reward in the end, and it didn't look good. Well, it didn't start well for the Matildas. It was a 24-second goal in their first clash against the USA, and tonight, Grace, it just took over 3 minutes.
Look, it was a slight improvement, but still fair to say that a goal that early in the game is just really not what a team needs to come to terms with, and then to have to try and claw back for 87 minutes to try and equalise, it's not a position you want to put yourself in. To be fair, the Matildas girls did create a few opportunities and chances, but it was a hard start for them again.
Yeah, and so having said, there's a massive numbers game stacked against Australia. When you get to the start of a football match, it's not numbers anymore. There's a runner going past you into the penalty area, and that runner scores the goal. And now there are people, or there should be people accountable for that if the team's going to improve. We can't boost the population by 10 by the time the World Cup comes around, right? What we've got to do is make sure the application for the people who are picked is bang on from the start, and it was better than Saturday night, but only by a couple of minutes. Let's be brutally honest. And then they recovered, and they fought, and they stayed in the contest really, really well, and they got a reward in the end, and they'll be happy with that.
Yeah, they will be happy coming away having equalised in this game. It might feel like a loss to the US girls on the other hand. But yeah, look, I think that's really fair harps there as well. Like the attacking prowess of this US women's national team, it put the Matildas under so much pressure for the entire game. So to be able to pinch one back in the late stages, they have to be happy with that.
I think so.
But there's definitely some points of improvement. Those minutes, those frail minutes in the opening stance, you can't have that in football.
No, and just quickly, T, I know you've got to get on with some business here, but really happy that the fans who turned out in great numbers got to cheer a goal. A late one's always more exciting. And 2 local girls figured.
Yes.
Claire Wheeler out of Adamstown Rosebuds gets 5 minutes in front of a home crowd, wins the ball like she can do for 90 minutes if she gets the chance. And Kaya Simon, she's from Sydney, but her Indigenous heritage is Biripi, 2 hours up the road in Taree. Fantastic local flavour to this resurrection for the Matildas here late in the game.
And all of the fans are currently over our shoulders, waiting for the autographs, waiting to see the Matildas before they head back overseas to their respective clubs. We are off to a short break here live on Network 10, your new home of Aussie football. On the other side, more reaction, more wash-up. We'll hear from Sam Kerr, Hayley Raso and Ellie Carpenter. Don't go anywhere.